Good morning, YouTubers. It's your buddy Choppadong. I am going to run through a real quick version of baseball again for you today, but we're going to do a little bit of dirty work first because there's a couple things I think you're going to want to see. PGA US Open this week, third major of the year. All of our PGA content at dfsarmy.com is unlocked and free to use. So you go into the PGA tab and you have access to the articles. The Chalk Donkey's coming out this week. It's a phenomenal PGA article. 5-finger discount for value plays is out. We've got a preview article as well. Coaches' notes and coaches' picks along with cash cores and things to build around will be up and running today. The research station has all of the stats you need to go blind on. And of course, our strategy articles, most of them are free anyway. The Tuesday podcast should be up too. If Taco did one this week, it should be up as well. Domination Station stays locked up for VIPs, so if you want to unlock that and build your lineups with it, you need to go to the link in the comment section, dfsarmy.com. Click that link. Use the coupon code USOPEN, USOPEN, for a 20% off discount that gets you, basically unlocks everything for you, not just the PGA stuff. You're going to want to look at that because I'm going to show you how I'm coaching people right now and how this is working, and I'm going to use myself as an example just to show you here in a couple of minutes. But first, let's dive into some of the baseball stuff. I have not looked at baseball yet today, so I'm going to go to the research station. And when this bad boy loads up, I'm going to do the 200 on 200 because it seems like a lot of people are loving chasing homers with this little metric. There's a lot of different ways to look at your power on power sources and pick your home runs. This is just one way to get the job done, and it works fairly well because it's so darn obvious. What we do is we come over here, and if you saw me explain it yesterday, you take the ISO column, you sort by descending order. This is last year and this year only, and we're looking for pitchers that give up high ISO. ISO is a power metric. We're looking for pitchers that give up high ISO against pitchers that seem to get hit really hard for a lot of long balls. And that's a good weakness to pick on for bats. So when we see these numbers over a 200, 200 is the elite number that you're looking for ISO. We want to look for these pitchers. And when I scroll over this way, I see an ISO of 299 all the way down to DeSclafani. Cleveland's in a good spot. DeSclafani's a righty. Lefties have the power against him. Sometimes you find reverse splits this way, like right here, righty on righty. So we'll get to that next. DeSclafani has a 299 ISO against. That's ridiculously high. That is like light the fuse. We're going to see some explosions. Now, can Cleveland do it? This is where you need to be the judge. Cleveland, I'm going to look at Cleveland's bats and I'm going to say which Cleveland hitters have a 200 ISO themselves. And I see Lindor and Santana. And I scroll down and not so much in Kipnis or Bowers or whatever. Not so much, not so much, not so much. So the two guys I'd be most interested in right now are Lindor and Santana. And if that's only a mini stack, fine. The other thing that I might do when I get down with all this list, I'll show you once, is I kick over here to the Trends tab. And I want to see if Lindor or Santana is currently running well. I already know the answer to that because I've been paying attention to baseball for the past few weeks daily, and you come across these guys as they get on your slate and off your slate and on your slate and off your slate. I sort descending by L7 WOBA. What is that? WOBA is weighted on base average, and this is the last 7 days. I will take the last 30 days, last 14 days, last 7 days, and I'll sort of track them and see, is the guy rising or is he falling? Is he getting hotter or is he getting colder? And that's really what I look at in these. I use mostly these two columns right here. I want to see this L7 WOBA above the 14 because I want to see that his last week is hotter than his 2 weeks because it tells me he's still possibly heating up, and I will gamble on that. I kick on to Cleveland. And there's Lindor right at the top of the list, 590 WOBA. Roberto Perez, if he gets the start, I might use him as a one-off of some kind. Luplow, 419, I might use him as a one-off. But there's Carlos Santana, 427 to 396. Okay, here's where you have to judge this. See, if I see the 468 out of Lindor up to a 590, that's great. The 468 is great. 400 is the number you're looking for WOBA. I look at 400, I think that's great. And then I look over here at 590, it's even better. So I'm loving Lindor today, right? But I look down here at the 427 to a 396, and I go, well, you know, I watched that video that Chop guy did, and he said if the number is smaller, I don't play him. Wrong. That's not what I said. I said he's trending in the wrong direction. He's maybe cooling off, but this is still a good number. It's really close to 400, so I would still play him because he's in such a great matchup today with the ISO on ISO situation. I'd still play him. I'd happily play him. I'm looking for, and if I see something like, see if I can find one, down here. I don't see one yet. Sometimes you'll see one that's like a 258 and it jumps to a 350. Okay, the 350 isn't a 400, but if I'm already looking at the offense and already looking at the player, the 250 to a 350 is a sign that he's heating up and he might be worth a gamble. So I'm not so hard and fast, black and white with these WOBA numbers. I'm looking at what these two columns are telling me and then what I already think about the team offense, and then I might use him or I might not. Like if I saw a 468 down to a 220, I'd be off of him because it's way too cold, way too fast. I don't trust that the hitter's seeing the ball. Something changed. But if I see a 468 down to, or like this 427 down to a 396, it's not that big of a deal. The 317 up to a 419 right above it is a big deal. It's a big jump. That means he's been hot lately, right? And I can scroll over and I can look at the ISOs for L7 as well. And Leplo is 286 up to 364. Pretty strong in the ISO category, right? So that's how I'm going to cross-check those. So when I go back to the batters matchups and I roll through these offenses, this is what I'm looking for. 200 plus on the pitcher, and then which players are a 200 plus as well. I don't care if they're righty-righty, lefty-lefty. I don't care. Because it's showing me over a decent sample size of about a year and a half now, we've got a pitcher giving up a lot of power against and a hitter that has a lot of power with that matchup. I don't care if it's Max Scherzer. This is a way to play the game. So 287 for David Hess. Again, you're going to see the bad name pitchers. The pitchers we've been picking on all year are going to be here, but righty on righty facing Toronto. A couple of Toronto guys might have a good matchup. Randall Grichuk. Maybe you're close with these 180s and 170s. If you wanted to run a Drury, Gurriel, Grichuk, and then if, Teoscar here gets the start. If these guys all start, maybe it's a 4-stack for you. 192 down here to Vladdy Jr. Maybe these are guys to pick from. They're all close. I'd be most excited about Grichuk at the 244 because it's well over 200. But I would cross-check these guys back here in the Trends tab and see who's running hot. That would help me narrow these 5 guys down to maybe 3. Who's running hot. Now, it can burn you. Last night I had Anthony Rendon. I wanted Kurt Suzuki, but I took Yan Gomes. I had Brian Dozier. I had, who else was in the lineup that I was using? I mean, I had a couple of guys, and they didn't have good nights. Yeah, Rendon hit 2, but he was literally the only guy in the offense that did anything for me. Juan Soto. They were all indicators of 200 on 200, and they were all indicators of hitting fairly well lately, but it didn't work. It's not always going to work. Nothing's foolproof. But if you track this thing, and that's what I'm going to show you in a minute, if you track this thing, you're going to see how to construct your contest to put yourself in the best possible position to win. And that's what I'm coaching inside DFSArmy.com about, is teaching you how to put your contests in the right spots around your bankroll to turn yourself what looks like really, really bad scores into something that actually turns profitable. It's been pretty fascinating the past couple of weeks. We've been doing this for our members. I'm just telling you guys out there in public land that I'm doing it so that you guys will get off the damn fence and get in here and start winning. 286 ISO for, who's this? Mitch Keller. Never heard of him. Probably a small sample size. So take that with a grain of salt. But I'm looking for the Atlanta guy. Is Atlanta fairly hot right now? So I'd be looking at Culberson if he draws a start. I don't see it very often, but occasionally we get one. Acuna, of course. Donaldson, if he's not hurt or suspended or whatever the heck's going on with him. 181 for Dansby Swanson is close. If he was running hot, I'd be much more intrigued by that. 227 for Austin Riley, of course. Those are the right-handers. Maybe we get down there and we find some left-handers against Keller as well. Tommy Malone, 266. And some of these guys are going to be on the early slate, and some of these are going to be on the late slate. Wednesday's a split slate day. So you need access to this tool yourself to really fine-tune it. 290 for Cron, great. 306 for Nelson Cruz, great. I would never discount Marwin Gonzalez on FanDuel. They refuse to raise his price. I watch his L7 WOBA, and if he's running hot, I play him like mad, and if he's not, I don't so much. But he has some sneaky power sometimes. His number isn't great, but it's kind of close. It's playable. 125, probably not. And Jorge Polanco against lefties. That's obviously his weaker side, being a switch hitter against the lefty. Right-handed side's his weaker side. 191, Miguel Sano is close. 210, Byron Buxton. Man, if you guys aren't playing that guy, you are missing the boat. Down in the bottom of the order, he gets lower ownership, and for some reason, the guy's pretty strong. 252, Edwin Jackson. Righty on righty. So you're looking at these Baltimore right-handed bats. So Nunez, Mancini, maybe Keon Broxton. Although I think Broxton's better against lefties. Come down here. Oh, there's a 263. Gutierrez in Kansas City. 250 for Daniel Norris. Lefty on lefty. If Gutierrez, I don't know if he's a righty or lefty with the 0, but if Gutierrez gets the start for whatever reason, if he's even up on the major league club, you might throw him out there. Small sample size, but it's been good so far. And again, it'd be rather sneaky. And the numbers show you that it's possible. 224, so I'm looking here at 264. There's Smoke. There's your Toronto guy. So it looks like Toronto's in a pretty good spot against David Hess. Righties and lefties both. You're going to pay attention to the 200-plus guys, though. So that's Smoke, Tellez, maybe McKinney if he gets a start for whatever reason, and Alan Hansen if he gets a start for whatever reason, all stacked viable. Down here into the 221s. David Peralta, Eduardo Escobar in Arizona. They're in good spots. Down here, Vargas if he gets a start in Philly. Is it Phil? No, it's another Arizona guy down here at the bottom on fairly small sample size. But see, this is how you use these numbers to help you out. And the 211s, we're getting kind of down low into the 200s. Not going to go through them all with you, but I'd be spotting the 200 ISO guys. Hoskins, Dietrich, that must be a lefty on righty situation. Dietrich's a lefty, smashes righties. If he's at home, he's not. If he was at home in Cincinnati, I'd really like it. 200, 195. These guys are close. It's not quite the number I would call. I'm not going to hashtag it 200 on 200, but if I saw 257, it's Arias. He's probably not even up at the major level anymore. Not a lot of right-handed Minnesota bats on Senzatela, which stinks. That's your Chicago guys like your Baez's and your Bryants. Baez is one. Baez is smashing righties. Smashes everybody. These guys are close, not exactly there. 190 down here. Here's a 386 over a 281 bat size on a 181. That's probably pretty good. Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story, Sin-Shu Chu. Oh, we shifted automatically right into Texas. So the 181 is the same for both different pitchers, Hamels and Porcello. So this one's going to shuffle up a little bit, so you're going to have to pay attention. Arenado, Story, Desmond, Iannetta, and even down here lower, you get some closer calls, but nothing special down here. And then you get into your Texas bats, and you've got your Chu, Cabrera, Guzman, maybe Odor is close. Now, Odor needs to be hitting the ball well because the last month or so he has not been hitting the ball well. But again, I'm just walking you through how I would use this list. Kansas City, if you want some Kansas City stuff, you'd use a Soler, a Merrifield, Mondesi. These guys are hitting the ball well against this handedness. The pitcher is not quite giving up, tremendous amounts of power against, but he's not giving up. It's not like he's really keeping the ball in the yard either. So your guys with the power would be the guys that might hit one out today. Okay? Let me show you what I mean, though, by how to use these contests, and then we'll get out of here. One of the easier things to do, watch your videos, did my own research, came out ahead yesterday. Awesome. $2 into $6, that's great, or $5, that's fine. That's what we're starting to build with a process. I want to show you really quickly before I use myself as a guinea pig. I'll come back to that channel. Show you our winning lineups channel. I do this on occasion. There's today. Let's scroll up to yesterday. I have not seen any chop video. I'm telling you guys, I can coach you. I know how to coach you. There we go. There's yesterday's winners. First GP place ever. Best I'd done in NASCAR. Well, that was from Sunday. Scroll down here. We look for a couple of winners here. Tweeted and tagged a few guys yesterday. Highest score ever in MLB. Been playing for a while. Never had anything like this. Awesome. That's what we're talking about. Won a 100-man league. $25 on the dollar. 13th in another one. Just missed the cash. Probably frustrated there. But 10 into 20 on a tournament. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to show you how to convert. If you play tournaments only, I'm going to show you how to use cash games too. $100 in MLB. Scrolling down a little bit more, WNBA wins. We win in all of our sports. We have coaches in all the different sports. 27 into 80 for baseball. Good job. CG, of course, winning again. This guy just wins. That's all he does. He just wins. What do we? 150 into 330. So a simple double, but it's a ladder win. So I'll show. Like I said, I'll get to it. MLB cash wins on fantasy draft or FanDuel and fantasy draft too. Good deal, guys. That's awesome. Let's go back up here to my channel. And let's show you what I'm talking about because I will share this part with you. Okay? Right team stacked, wrong players last night. Good. I did the exact same thing. It happened to me too. But what I'm going to do is show you how to track your process, track your results. You scroll down here, remember, if you're tracking these types of numbers, these numbers right here are code. They mean something. That is the percentage of finish in contests. I will put them in a 100-man league or a 100-person 50-50 contest so that it's just easy on the math. If I finished 38th in a 100-person contest, I built a top 38% lineup, right? Right down here. You know, if I finish 1387th in 8350 player GPP, I simply divide 1387 by 8350 for 16.6% or a 17 up here. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Tracking my lives. Where do they typically finish? Past few days, look at this scatter shot of baloney all over the place. 32, 78, 55. These are not cashing 50-50s. The 32 is, but the 78, 55, that missed everything. 38, 96. 96 is down at the bottom. It's terrible. 27, 80, 43, 21, 94, 47, 43, 11, 13, 20. Now we got a little run. 1, 38, 15. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row cash games, and they were all in the top third, and they were all in the teens and the 20s. They all pretty much cashed 100-man leagues. One of them won one. So this right here, this little run, my process did not change. Same way of looking batters up, same way of looking pitchers up, same way of everything, but over a little larger sample of what, 15 to 20 contests now. I've got a lot of crappy lineups in the 90s and the 70s and the 80s and whatever, but I've got, pardon me, when we turn that phone off. But then I get into here and I look, there's some 30s in here, which are, these just barely miss the 10-man leagues and whatnot. If you're tracking these, under 50% wins a 50-50 league, under 30% cashes triple ups, 3-mans, and 10-mans, because top third win money in those contests. Under 20% cashes quintuple ups, and it starts to min cash your GPPs, because top 20% pay. Under 10% wins a 10-man. It's a 10% lineup. That means it's got a 1 in 10 shot at winning. If I play a 10-person contest and I build a top 10% lineup, it has a shot. It might finish second. I might get a little unlucky that the guy that won it did a little better than me, but it's got a shot at winning depending on how lucky I am with the contest that I chose. And the only way you're going to smooth that type of variance out is to play a lot of them. So over the course of the next month or two, you've got the opportunity to keep track of these scores and see how you typically do in them. That's what we're doing. I'm keeping track of these scores here so that I know which of these contests I should be focused on, right? So in a top 1% wins 100-mans for $25 on the dollar, but it still doesn't likely get you more than $6 to $8 in a GPP. You really need in a GPP to get inside that top 1%, top 0.5%, top 1/3 of a percent, top 1/10 of a percent, depending on how large the GPP is. If you're playing in one of those $75,000 quarters contests, you need to be in the top 1/10 of 1% to even get squat out of the thing. And that's only the top 750 people. You've still got to go deeper and deeper and deeper than that to trigger big money. You're not going to do that very often. So what you need to do is build a process, build a contest selection process based on how you finish. And this is what I can help you do as a member inside the DFS Army. I'm going to look at your scores, tell you to track them over 20 or 30 scores, and then I'm going to custom design a ladder for you that puts you in the most advantageous position possible. I'm going to teach you through discussion how I do that and how you can do it for yourself, because I'm very big on teach a man to fish. I don't want you attached to my hip for the rest of my life. I want you to learn what I teach and then go forth, be fruitful, and prosper. That's what I want out of you. If you're interested in that and you want to learn how to track your contests and how to put yourself in the best possible position to win, you can see this was very profitable. This stretch of 20 contests or whatever was profitable because of this little run right here. That's all it takes. And this, even this 1% lineup was not near good enough. It was out of a 20,000 person GPP, it was like 40th. It was a good score, but it was not good enough to really trigger the big money in that GPP. So I capped it at the 25x in the 100-man league, and I ran off to the bank laughing all the way. My bankroll over this smattering of baloney is up nearly triple in this stretch right here because I know where to put my contests. If that interests you, like and subscribe to the video, spread me around on social media, help me help more people, and I'll help you too. But you got to get in here and be a member using the coupon code USOPEN for that 20% off discount, and you've got to click the link, dfsarmy.com, to get in here and get the coaching that it takes to become a better player. Thank you very much. Split Slate Wednesday. Hopefully you guys got something out of both slates, and you'll be able to use that going forward, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.